Hello boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Grade 4 Mathematics. My name is Miss Aaliyah Brewster and today's topic is adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. But just in case you're not feeling motivated, remember the words of Paul Halmos. The only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. So grab a pencil and a notebook, get settled, we're about to start. To begin today's lesson, we're going to do an example of how to add fractions with similar denominators. To do this, it's quite simple. We can look at it in 3 steps. Step 1, make sure the bottom numbers or the denominators are the same. Step 2, add the top numbers or the numerators, put that answer over the denominator. And step 3, simplify the fraction if needed. For example, if we were asked to calculate quarter plus quarter, we simply need to write the denominator and add the 2 numerators. So in this case, the denominator is 4. So we write 4 because that will be the denominator of our answer. Next, we're going to add the numerators. In this case, we have 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Our answer is 2 quarters, but that can be simplified further. To simplify, we find the greatest common factor of 2 and 4. The greatest common factor of 2 and 4 is 2. We then divide both numbers, the numerator and the denominator, by 2. So when we divide 2 by 2, we'll get 1. 2 by 4, we'll get 2. So the simplified version of our answer would be half. Let's look at it in a picture format. We were asked to find the sum of quarter and quarter. To do this, we're going to look at a square and we're going to divide that square into 4 equal parts and shade 1 part. And that 1 part that is shaded represents quarter. We do the same for the other one because the fractions are similar. Now, when you add quarter plus quarter, you'll get 2 quarters, obviously. However, notice that 2 quarter is similar to half because half of the shape is shaded. Therefore, 2 quarters and half are equivalent fractions, meaning they are equal to the same amount. Now that we have an understanding of how to add fractions with similar denominators, let's look at adding fractions with unlike denominators. In this case, the fractions that we are given, the denominators are not the same. Here we have 3 quarters plus 7/10. Notice for one fraction the denominator is 4, while the other the denominator is 10. How do we go about solving this? We have to find the LCM of the 2 denominators, and LCM stands for the lowest common multiple. So if you would like to add the fractions 3 quarter and 7/10, we have to first find the LCM of the 2 denominators. Here is how we identify the LCM. We have to list the multiples of 10 and list the multiples of 4. The multiples of 10 are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We can go on, but you have to stop at some point. The multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Now, looking at the multiples of 10 and 4, we see the lowest common multiple is 20. Or in other words, 4 and 10 share a similar multiple, which is 20. Okay? So we're going to use 20 as our LCM. Continuing with our working, now that we know the LCM is 20, we can convert both fractions to make them equal so that it's easier for us to add. To do this, let's look at the first fraction, which is 3/4. We divide the denominator by the LCM. In this case, 20 divided by 4 is equivalent to 5. Okay, now we multiply 5 by the numerator and 5 by the denominator. So 5 times 3 is 15 and 5 times 4 is 20. So 3/4 is converted into 15 20s. Now let's look at the second fraction, which is 7/10. So we're going to convert this. To do this, we're going to divide the denominator by the LCM. So it's 20 divided by 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. So we multiply 2 times 7 and 2 times 10. 2 times 7 is 14, while 2 times 10 is 20. So 7/10 is converted into 14 20s. Now that both fractions are converted, we can substitute those two fractions for the original ones and add. At this point, we have two fractions that have the same denominator. So all we need to do is add the numerator because the denominator would remain the same in our answer. In this case, our denominator is 20. So we're going to add 15 plus 14, and that would give us 29. So the answer for our problem is 29 20s. Well, you would notice that that answer is in the form of an improper fraction. So we can simplify it by converting it into a mixed number. Remember, boys and girls, mixed numbers are numbers that contain a whole number and a fraction. To convert the improper fraction into a mixed number, we simply divide the denominator by the numerator and write the remainder as our new numerator. So in this case, we have 29 20s. 20 divided by 29 would give us 1 because 20 can go into 29 one time. But we will have a remainder of 9. So our whole number for the mixed number would be 1, and our new numerator would be 9, and our denominator remains at 20. So our answer then is 1 and 9 20s. Now let's move on to discuss how to subtract fractions with unlike denominators. So before we did adding fractions with unlike denominators, now we're going to subtract. To subtract fractions with unlike denominators, the method of doing it, it's quite similar to adding fractions with unlike denominators. For example, if we were asked to find the answer for 9/10 subtract 5/6. The denominators of those two fractions are not the same, so we have to find the lowest common multiple. So we're going to start off by listing the multiples of 10, which are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. We're going to stop at 70, but we can go on. We will list the multiples of 6, which are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. Now looking at the multiples of 10 and 6, we can see that the lowest common multiple is 30. Now that we would have identified the LCM for 6 and 10, which is 30, we can rewrite each fraction to its equivalent fraction with a denominator that is equal to 30. Okay, so to do this, we're going to split the fractions up. Let's look at the first fraction, which is 9/10. We're going to convert that fraction. Okay, to convert, we divide the denominator by the LCM. So 30 divided by 10 is equal to 3. So we're going to multiply 3 times 9, or 3 times the numerator. 3 times 9 is 27. So 9/10 converted will equal to 27/30. Now let's convert the second fraction, which is 5/6. We're going to divide the denominator, which is 6, by the LCM. So 30 divided by 6 is equivalent to 5. Now we multiply 5 by the numerator and by the denominator. So 5 times 5 is 25 and 6 times 5 is 30. So 5/6 converted would equal to 25/30. Notice we have two fractions now with similar denominators, so it is safe for us to subtract the numerators. All we do, we write back the denominator because that will be the denominator for our answer, and we subtract the numerators. In this case, 27 subtract 25 is equal to 2. Our answer for this problem would be 2/30. So we reduce that fraction into its lowest term. We're going to use 2. 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 30 is 15. So our fraction reduced to its lowest term is 1/15. And it's as simple as that, boys and girls. I trust that you would have learned a lot from today's lesson. And remember the words of Paul Halmos: the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. This means that you must continue to practice if you wish to be successful at your upcoming exam. Thank you once again for tuning in, boys and girls, and goodbye.